When you hear the word Jamaica, what comes to mind? For most people, it's the irresistible rhythm of reggae, the lightning speed of sprinting legends, the turquoise beaches that attract millions of tourists, or the laid-back charm of island living. But today, Jamaica is preparing to step onto a stage that has nothing to do with music, athletics, or vacations. Instead, it's about trade, global trade. Yes, Jamaica is now reaching for a seat at one of the most exclusive tables in the world. The nation has set its sights on becoming the fourth global logistics node, standing shoulder to shoulder with three economic heavyweights: Singapore, Panama, and Dubai. That might sound like a dream too bold for a country of under 3 million people. But cranes are already rising on the skyline, warehouses are being built, and policies are being rewritten. This is not just talk. This is real execution. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what this vision means, why Jamaica is betting on it now, the obstacles that could stand in the way, and the enormous rewards if it succeeds. Stick around, because this isn't just a Jamaican story, it's one that could transform the entire Caribbean's role in world trade. But before we begin, hit that subscribe button. We bring you the hidden, untold stories of nations on the rise, and what you're about to hear is one of the boldest economic transformations in modern history. Let's start at the very beginning. What does it actually mean to be a global logistics node? Most ports around the world are little more than transit stations. Ships arrive, containers are offloaded, goods are shifted around, and then the ships leave. It's a cycle of entry and exit. But logistics nodes are a different beast altogether. They are the powerhouses of global commerce, the nerve centers of supply chains. Billions of dollars worth of goods flow through them every single week. These hubs are where entire trade routes converge, where time and cost are shaved off supply chains, and where efficiency and reliability dictate who wins and who loses in the global economy. Take Singapore. It has no oil reserves, no minerals, no massive farmlands. In fact, Singapore is smaller in land size than Jamaica. Yet through visionary leadership and strategic investments, it turned its geographical location into one of the busiest shipping hubs in the world. Today, over 20% of all global shipping containers pass through Singapore. It doesn't just serve Asia, it connects Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. Now look at Panama. One canal, just one man-made waterway, changed the destiny of an entire nation. The Panama Canal isn't just a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific, it's one of the most valuable arteries in the global economy. Every container that moves through it strengthens Panama's role as a logistics giant. And then there's Dubai. In just a few decades, it transformed itself from desert sands into a hub that connects east and west. Dubai's Jebel Ali port is one of the largest in the world. Dubai International Airport is the busiest for international travelers globally. All of this was the result of deliberate strategy, building infrastructure, creating investor-friendly laws, and positioning itself as indispensable in world trade. None of these countries stumbled into success. They built it step by step. Now Jamaica is saying, we can be next. This is where Jamaica's story gets interesting. This isn't just political rhetoric or some abstract vision buried in a government document. Projects are already being rolled out on the ground. In Kingston, on Marcus Garvey Drive, the Kingston Gateway Commercial and Warehouse Complex is taking shape. It's a $13 million investment that goes beyond being just a warehouse. Once completed, it will include 21 state-of-the-art warehouses, collectively offering more than 112,000 square feet of rentable space. Designed to meet international standards, this facility is meant to be a magnet for global logistics and distribution companies. It's Jamaica's way of saying, we're open for business at a serious scale. But that's just one piece. The centerpiece of Jamaica's plan is the Caymanas Special Economic Zone. Spanning 50 acres, it's Jamaica's first true SZ, a model inspired by global successes like Shenzhen in China or Jafza in Dubai. The idea is straightforward but incredibly powerful. Carve out a zone where global firms can operate with tax incentives, streamlined customs processes, and reduced bureaucracy. If Jamaica secures even one major anchor tenant, a shipping giant, a global manufacturing brand, or a logistics powerhouse, the spillover effect could be transformative. Once one global player sets up shop, others inevitably follow. Alongside this, the Urban Development Corporation (UDC) is preparing an industrial park with 41-acre lots. While this isn't technically an SEZ, businesses that establish themselves there will have the option to seek certification. This creates flexibility, allowing companies to move quickly without being bogged down by regulatory hurdles. Piece by piece, Jamaica is laying a foundation. But what's crucial is that these are not isolated buildings, they're seeds of an entire ecosystem. Here's the thing, a global logistics node is never just about bricks, cranes, and steel. Infrastructure matters, yes, but the real magic lies in building an ecosystem that businesses trust and thrive in. Jamaica seems to understand this. That's why the government has been pushing hard on regulatory reform. In 2023, it introduced omnibus legislation aimed at streamlining business laws. For decades, investors complained about the slow and complicated processes that define Jamaica's bureaucracy. This reform was designed to flip that script. Now, companies can register faster, move goods quicker, and avoid getting stuck in red tape. On top of that, Jamaica's special economic zone policies have been refined to offer generous tax breaks, fast-track customs clearance, and duty concessions. These are not small tweaks, they are major incentives to attract foreign direct investment. For global firms calculating where to place their next hub, these kinds of policies can tip the scales. Diplomatically, Jamaica is also positioning itself smartly. It has maintained close ties with the United States, its largest trading partner, while also cultivating relationships with emerging markets. In a world where trade wars and geopolitical tensions are forcing companies to reroute supply chains, Jamaica is essentially raising its hand and saying, "We are the shortcut you're looking for." Timing is often the deciding factor in whether bold visions succeed or fail. And right now, Jamaica's timing is nearly perfect. The world is experiencing a supply chain reset. Pandemic disruptions, rising costs, and geopolitical tensions, from the US-China rivalry to instability in the Red Sea, have made companies rethink their overdependence on single routes or single suppliers. The trend of nearshoring and friendshoring is gaining traction. Businesses are shifting operations closer to their largest markets to reduce risks. This is where Jamaica shines. The island sits at the geographic crossroads of the Americas. It's only a few hours from the US mainland, close to Latin America, and positioned at the gateway of the Panama Canal. Add in one of the Caribbean's deepest ports, a largely English-speaking workforce, and relative political stability, and suddenly Jamaica looks like an attractive bet. Geography is destiny, and in a world where trade maps are being redrawn, Jamaica is holding a winning card. But let's be honest, vision without execution is just a dream. And for Jamaica, the challenges are as real as the opportunities. The first challenge is equity and inclusivity. Critics warn that SEZs often benefit foreign investors more than local communities. They can create pockets of prosperity where global firms enjoy tax holidays and duty exemptions while ordinary Jamaicans see little benefit beyond low-wage jobs. If not managed carefully, this could deepen inequality rather than solve it. The second challenge is infrastructure readiness. Building warehouses is one thing, but to truly be a logistics node, everything has to work seamlessly: roads, ports, rail links, digital systems. If goods get stuck in Kingston's traffic or if customs processing lags, the entire system collapses. One weak link could break the chain. The third is bureaucratic inertia. Jamaica has long battled with red tape, delays, and inefficiencies. For this project to succeed, the culture of governance must evolve. Public agencies must operate with the speed of global commerce, not the pace of outdated bureaucracy. And finally, there's public trust. Jamaicans have seen big projects announced before, only for them to stall or collapse. If this initiative becomes another story of promises without delivery, the public will lose faith quickly. For Jamaica's logistics dream to succeed, it must show visible, measurable progress. This is why the stakes couldn't be higher. Jamaica's logistics push isn't just another economic project. It's a defining moment in the nation's history. For decades, Jamaica's soft power has come through culture, reggae, sprinting, tourism. But this is the first time it's reaching for influence in the arteries of global trade. If successful, this pivot could rewrite Jamaica's identity in the global economy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness put it best: "In everything, I believe in choosing Jamaica." It's a call for Jamaicans at every level, government, private sector, and civil society, to back this vision. Because if they do, the rewards could be enormous. So let's imagine what success could actually look like. Picture Kingston functioning like Singapore of the Caribbean. Massive cargo ships docking at port, containers being processed within hours, goods moving to warehouses, and planes flying out to North and South America within the same day. Picture multinational corporations establishing their Caribbean or even Latin American headquarters in Jamaica. Imagine thousands of new jobs across logistics, shipping, customs, and manufacturing. For ordinary Jamaicans, this would mean more than employment. It could strengthen the Jamaican dollar, reduce reliance on foreign loans, and boost public services. For the first time, Jamaica could shift from being a borrower nation to a trade hub nation. That's the scale of what's on the line. Of course, Jamaica isn't trying to build this dream in a vacuum. Competition is fierce. Mexico is investing heavily in nearshoring logistics to serve the U.S. market. The Dominican Republic is positioning itself as a Caribbean trade hub. Even Panama, with its legendary canal, is upgrading to secure its dominance. This is why Jamaica must act with urgency. Execution matters. The cranes that dot Kingston's skyline must translate into real, operational facilities. Investors will only believe in Jamaica if the vision delivers concrete results quickly. So here we are at the crossroads of history. Jamaica is daring to dream beyond reggae, beyond beaches, beyond athletics. The nation is aiming for something bigger, a seat at the global trade table. If it pulls this off, it won't just change Jamaica's future. It will redefine the entire Caribbean's role in global commerce. From island nation to logistics powerhouse. From cultural exporter to trade giant. But the risks are real. The window is narrow. And the world is watching. So, what do you think? Can Jamaica rise to become the world's fourth global logistics node? Or is this ambition too far ahead of its time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. One thing is certain, Jamaica's bold move could change the game forever. When we left off, we had already painted the vision. Jamaica wants to join the big three, Singapore, Panama, and Dubai, as the world's fourth global logistics node. But to really understand how bold this is, we need to peel back more layers. Because this is not just about warehouses and ports. It's about history, politics, economics, and Jamaica's place in a rapidly shifting global order. For centuries, Jamaica's economy has been defined by dependence. First, it was the sugar plantations under colonial rule. Then, in the post-independence era, the island turned to bauxite, tourism, and remittances from the diaspora. These industries brought revenue, but they never gave Jamaica the kind of economic independence it craved. Tourism makes billions, yes, but much of that wealth is captured by foreign-owned hotels, cruise lines, and multinational corporations. Bauxite exports have been vulnerable to price swings. Remittances are helpful but unpredictable. And through it all, Jamaica has carried the burden of one of the highest debt-to-GDP ratios in the world. That's why logistics matters so much. This isn't just another industry. It's a chance to anchor Jamaica into the global economy in a way that is sustainable and transformational. By becoming a node, Jamaica wouldn't just be reacting to the world, it would be shaping it. We already mentioned the Caymanas SEZ and the Kingston Gateway Complex. But those are just the beginning. Jamaica's logistics strategy is designed to unfold in layers, creating a national network of interconnected hubs. The Jamaica Logistics Hub Initiative, JLHI, is at the center of this plan. It envisions 5 key pillars. Seaports, leveraging Kingston Harbor, one of the deepest natural harbors in the world, and upgrading it with state-of-the-art container terminals. Airports, expanding Norman Manley International in Kingston and Sangster International in Montego Bay to handle more cargo alongside passengers. Special economic zones, creating clusters where global firms can operate tax-free, duty-free, and with simplified customs. ICT infrastructure, building digital systems to handle customs, logistics tracking, and financial flows seamlessly. Industrial parks, attracting light manufacturing and assembly operations to ensure that goods are not just passing through Jamaica, but being transformed there. When combined, these pillars form a national logistics ecosystem. And if executed well, Jamaica would no longer be just a stopover, it would become a destination in itself. One question you might be asking is, who exactly will use Jamaica as a hub? The answer lies in the shifting strategies of global corporations. Shipping giants like Maersk and MSC are constantly looking for ways to cut costs and speed up deliveries. E-commerce leaders like Amazon and Alibaba are racing to shorten delivery times to customers across the Americas. And manufacturers moving away from Asia are seeking new bases closer to the US market. For all these players, Jamaica offers a unique proposition. It's close to Miami, yet far cheaper than operating directly out of the US. It has proximity to the Panama Canal, meaning goods can flow east and west efficiently. And it has a government that is rolling out policies to make life easier for investors. If even one of these global giants establishes a regional distribution hub in Jamaica, it could trigger a domino effect. Think about what FedEx did for Memphis or what DP World did for Dubai. A single anchor tenant can redefine a city's and a country's economic trajectory. Of course, buildings and policies mean little without people to power them. For Jamaica, the logistics revolution could be a major employment engine. Thousands of jobs could be created in shipping, warehousing, customs, trucking, air cargo, IT systems, and light manufacturing. But here's where Jamaica faces a critical challenge: skills. To manage global logistics at a high level, workers need advanced training. Customs officers must be able to use digital clearance systems. Warehouse staff need to handle automated inventory systems. Truck drivers need efficient scheduling technology. Managers must understand global supply chains, not just local delivery. This is why partnerships with universities and technical institutes are vital. Already, institutions like the University of the West Indies and the Caribbean Maritime University are tailoring programs to prepare students for logistics careers. But the demand will be massive, and education will need to scale fast. If Jamaica gets this right, logistics could create a generation of high-skilled jobs that keep talent at home instead of losing it to migration. But let's slow down for a moment, because while the vision is exciting, there are real risks. First, Jamaica could become overly dependent on foreign investors. If multinational corporations dominate SEZs, profits could flow overseas while Jamaica is left with only modest benefits. Second, there's the issue of debt. Infrastructure on this scale requires billions of dollars. While Jamaica has made progress in reducing its debt burden, the temptation to borrow heavily could return. If projects stall or investors pull out, Jamaica could find itself saddled with white elephants, expensive facilities with no tenants. Third, environmental risks cannot be ignored. Expanding ports, building warehouses, and increasing cargo traffic could strain Jamaica's fragile coastal ecosystems. In an era where climate change is already battering small islands with stronger hurricanes, resilience must be built into every design. And finally, geopolitical risks loom large. If global trade shifts again, or if another crisis disrupts supply chains, Jamaica's hub strategy could be undermined before it matures. Despite these risks, international observers are watching Jamaica closely. Because the world is in desperate need of new logistics solutions. The pandemic exposed just how brittle global supply chains are. A blockage in the Suez Canal in 2021 froze nearly 12% of world trade for days. Rising geopolitical tensions have made companies wary of overdependence on any one region. In that environment, a small country with a big vision can punch far above its weight. Just like Singapore did decades ago, Jamaica has the chance to rewrite the map of global trade. And this is where Jamaica's story becomes bigger than itself. If it succeeds, it could blaze a trail for other small nations across the Caribbean, Africa, and the Pacific. It could prove that size is not destiny, that even small countries can shape the arteries of global commerce if they act boldly and strategically. Let's bring it back home. Because for all the talk of billions and global strategies, The real question is, what does this mean for ordinary Jamaicans? Success would mean jobs, not just low-paying seasonal ones in tourism, but stable careers in logistics and trade. It would mean stronger public services, funded by tax revenues from booming industries. It would mean a stronger Jamaican dollar, making imports cheaper and reducing the cost of living. It could also mean a shift in national pride. For decades, Jamaica has been admired for culture, music, and athletics. But imagine Jamaicans being equally proud of their nation's role as a global trade hub, proud not just of Bob Marley or Usain Bolt, but of Kingston standing tall as the Caribbean Singapore. But here's the catch: the window of opportunity is narrow. Global trade is in flux right now, but that won't last forever. Countries like Mexico and the Dominican Republic are racing ahead with their own logistics strategies. Panama is expanding its canal capacity. Once supply chains settle into new patterns, it will be much harder for Jamaica to break in. That means execution must be swift. Announcements and ribbon cuttings won't be enough. Investors must see real progress: cranes lifting, ships docking, goods moving. Every delay risks Jamaica losing ground to competitors. So here we are at a defining question. Will Jamaica seize this moment? Will it have the political will, the private investment, and the public support to turn this dream into reality? If yes, the rewards are extraordinary. If no, the opportunity may vanish for another generation. In the end, Jamaica's logistics ambition is about more than trade. It's about rewriting the story of a small island that refuses to be defined by its size. If it succeeds, Jamaica won't just be a place of reggae and beaches, it will be a nerve center of world commerce. From cultural exporter to logistics powerhouse. From borrower to builder. But the risks are real, and the margin for error is thin. The cranes are in the sky, the policies are on the books, and the world is watching. The question is simple: will Jamaica deliver? So, what do you think? Can Jamaica truly rise to the level of Singapore, Panama, and Dubai? Or is this vision too ambitious for a nation of its size? Drop your comments below. I want to hear your take. And if you found this video valuable, give it a like, share it with a friend who cares about the Caribbean's future, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories that really matter. Because make no mistake, Jamaica's bold move could change the game forever.